Welcome to Destination Divergence. Last time, y'all got to the Plane of Order, Donvi, the Perfect Order, as it is called here in Eberron. You arrived with a bit of a mishap, but you weren't even sure from the way you calculated things, from the way you cast your spell, that it was a mishap in the first place. It's just that this plane is incredibly particular, and the spell you cast did not account for that. The Plane of Order, Donvi, is it only has one legal entrance, and any other entrance to that place is punishable, unfortunately. And out of all the places you could have ended up, I had you roll a d100 to see which layer you'd end up on, and you guys landed in I don't know if you actually got the name for it, but I'll go ahead and tell you. You landed in the Iron Ward, which is a layer run by the devils of the plane, who use their power to subjugate others rather than pursuing the law in terms of justice. Such they try to use the laws for their own means rather than trying to stick to the spirit of the laws or try to improve the laws or anything of that nature. The Iron Ward was pretty nasty. You saw a lot of people running around doing very dirty, hard work that they were being forced into by various mechanical devils and other constructs. And you were very quickly spotted. It seems your spell didn't cause any immediate detection upon entering, but once you were spotted, you were identified as intruders, as unauthorized guests here in this location. And so, very quickly, a couple very strong constructs came out of a gate nearby and told you to stand down. They told you to stop resisting arrest, that everything would be over in just a moment. That this didn't have to be violent if you didn't want it to be, and after the party eventually agreed, you were all shunted away into a prison here on the Plane of Order. You are all now within the Great Halls and the holding cells of the Great Halls of Justice of Donvi, the Perfect Order. All of your cells are beautiful in one way or another, but obviously still prison cells. It is strange that while it is immediately recognizable as a prison cell and such, everything is made out of gold or brass and very shiny, well polished, well kept, that kind of thing, and so on and so forth. It's a weird contrast that you find yourselves in. And as you attempt to test the bounds of your confinement, you find that there is some sort of wall of force over the cell bars that means that the cell bars are mostly decorative, as one of you found out by slicing directly through them, only to be stopped by the wall of force beyond them. However, you can still speak with each other, and it appears some magic in this place works, as Faye was able to cast a firebolt, and I believe some other small spells were cast. But anything that would teleport you or dispel anything, that kind of magic was immediately shut down by your surroundings. You were approached by an angel, but not the kind of angel you perhaps would be super used to. Not a biological angel. Not a biological angel or an angel of battle or anything like that. Instead, this angel's name was Zophiel, and they were mechanical. I think I described them as basically like a walking statue. Like they were they're absolutely a construct, but also absolutely an angel and recognizable as such. But they weren't wearing fancy armor or gilded with any fancy jewelry or anything. No, they were wearing the simple robes that you sort of saw in the Plane of Peace, that kind of attire. But again, formed into like a statue and very smooth and not organic at all. Later, you also met a devil. The devil's name was Drazarek, I believe, if I'm reading my notes correctly. Drazarek, yes, that looks right. Who I think I described as like a series of small glass shards kind of organized into a structure that made up a being. Not so much shards of glass that are nicely arranged like a stained glass window or a mosaic or anything, but very jagged and pointy out at all angles. Almost like they were more magnetized together and grouped into a structure that looked like a devil than something that was perfectly crafted or anything like that. These two figures both had some offers for you. Zophiel, began with just questioning you about what was going on. How did you get here? Why did you get here? Who are you? What is your purpose here? So on and so forth. Asking you many questions and taking lots of notes. They wrote down that, of course, you all mean well, that it was an honest mistake. You know, it was you were using ancient spells that their current protections did not account for, and that you had found a flaw in the security and so on. Zofio seems to have your back in a way. It doesn't seem like Zofio is out to get you, but it does seem like Zofio wants true justice to be found, I believe is what they said.
Yes.
Which is not necessarily
Not necessarily helpful for our purposes.
Exactly. They are very adamant that true justice will be found, but hopefully that justice will be better than the alternative. After all, you all mean well. It was not a mistake, so on and so forth. Zofia hopes the punishment will not be too severe. However, they were very forthcoming with the level of severity of other punishments that are often doled out in this place, whether it's the removal of limbs or eyes or eternal curses or all sorts of things, all the way down, all the way up to the most terrible things, including death, and all the way down to simple fines and such. There's apparently some complicated system of laws organizing all of this, but Zophiel hopes to find exactly the perfect fitting punishment instead of finding exactly what the law says. The devil, on the other hand, Drazarek, wanted to speak with you about, they called it an offer, but it was very clear throughout the conversation that it was more that Drazarek felt that they were holding all of you in their hands, that they had a lot of leverage here, and they wanted to use that leverage against you. Because every time any of you would sort of resist or bring up alternate options or even slightly mention that you weren't super feeling Drazzarek's offer, he would bring up more and more things he had stacked against you in court, such as the ability to essentially stall the court for an indefinite amount of time while he looked through all of your pasts, things like that. Or finally, he brought up the fact that you were all being recorded in these cells, and a few things that were mentioned probably would not be good for all of you if they showed up in court. There was some potential talk of using violence to get your way out of this, whether that was murdering the judge or murdering the guards, murdering the angels and devils here that were speaking with you. Lots and lots of talk of murder, of course. Yep, Drazarek plans to use that against you if you don't go with what he wants. So we've got two sides of this coin here. The devils trying to get you to do what they want and using the laws against you, and the angels just doing their best. That's basically what they've got. I believe where we left off last time was 3 of you had signed, or not signed, but verbally agreed to work with Drazarek after things worked out. If the ruling went in your favor and Drazarek was able to get you out without any kind of punishment that would stall you for too long, that you would sign a contract with him and do some sort of deed that's perhaps within a loophole in the law, not particularly legal, but not apparently completely illegal either. Who was those 3 people? Who were those 3 people?
Milos didn't like hard agree no matter what, but he was like, okay, I'll go along with this for the time being.
Yes, that makes sense.
I think Clemens was the one who was hard now.
Yeah, Clemens is definitely not.
Yeah,
Okay,
Clemens and
so-
Faye were diametrically opposed here.
Clemens is sitting here staring at the bars and wondering if the fact that they're decorative while there is an invisible wall of force behind them is some kind of metaphor for the legal system here.
Pretty fair. So it sounds like
That's awfully
Carrick.
astute for Clemens.
Fair. Sounds like Carrick was also at least in verbal agreement then. I think I remember there being 3. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, I was on Faye's side.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so there's the 3 of you that have at least given some sort of positive nod to Drazarek. Yeah, so he's hoping to not drag you through the coals, so to speak, in court and really make it as painful as possible. He wants to get you out and he wants you to get the task done, it sounds like. But you didn't have too much more time to debate because a spot opened up, finally. You thought you might be waiting here days or who knows how long, but as fortune would have it, a devil of very high rank had just finished looking over a contract he had previously written and trying to figure out where he went wrong with it, what the terms were, things like that, trying to be very careful about how he dealt with this contract. And as that was mentioned, Milos's dagger was burning and told Milos to kill Neko, the cat, the mechanical cat. You were then all led down the hall, and that is where we will be picking up now, is with you all being led into the courtroom. Am I missing anything important? I think I covered everything.
That sounded like a pretty
That's the long and
comprehensive
short of
summary to
it.
me.
All right. Very good. Very good. So, you all enter into one of the halls of justice here, one of the courtrooms. And inside, it looks sort of similar to what you would expect a courtroom to look like in our world, right? You've got the place where the judge sits, and such, very elevated. A couple locations down below that, and in those seats currently is the Collieret, who was referred to previously, who I'll describe in a moment. And then on either side of them are the angel and devil that were with you in the halls of your prison cells earlier. You have Zophiel and Jezrek. There we go. These celestial and devil names, so tricky sometimes. There are
think
no
they do on
other.
purpose.
Yeah, fair enough. Could be.
How can we make mortals' lives just a little more irritating today? Oh, I know.
Yes, true. Yeah. Well, if they've been around for so long, they have to make it a little interesting with their names. Can't have them too simple. So yeah, there are no other mortals in the court or anything. You do see some constructs around the room, very tall, powerful ones, like the ones that teleported you here in the first place, stationed around the room, not in any position of ceremony, but they appear to just be like the armed guards that keep things in order here. Some magical firepower to make sure that everything stays calm. You are all led to simply stand before this podium in front of you with the judge and the angel and devil. The Collieret, who I mentioned I would describe earlier, is not too different from a Warforged. A Collieret is and I might be butchering the pronunciation, is a standard construct type. So some of you may have heard of it or seen them before in other adventures or whatever, but yeah, it is not too unlike a Warforged. It is a medium humanoid construct made of plates of armor that look like they could potentially be good in battle, but not super heavy duty. And they're not super bulky or anything. They tend to wear simple robes over top of these plates of armor that make up what would be their flesh if they're a humanoid, and so on and so forth. So yeah, pretty similar to a Warforged, but they don't have any of the markings of like House Canath design or anything like that. And they don't tend to be too frilly either. Not very decorative, just very functional, and it seems like the entire purpose of their physical form is simply to get from point A to point B. There doesn't appear to be any like weaponry or capability to really mess with any weaponry. Just very light, simple robots. Yeah. Let's see. Can I get an Arcana check from anyone who would like to upon seeing this figure?
Oh, I would
Absolutely.
love
This is
to.
a very high DC, but I just want to see if anyone gets
Do
up
we
there.
have foresight at the moment?
Oh,
Or
always, baby.
Yeah, I believe
Can
you still have
you-
foresight.
Can you roll it for me real quick? I just got home.
Absolutely.
This doesn't use a tool, right?
Does not use a tool.
Damn it.
So Carrot got a 28.
Ooh. Can I
That's
flash
pretty good.
carrot?
That's our
Hey
boy.
yo. But yes.
Oh shit!
In court? Damn. Yeah, so that brings it over a 30, which 30 was the DC. So, like I said, pretty high. But upon seeing this figure, you notice some of the subtle threads of magic in this place that sort of tie this robot to the ceiling. But these threads are like made of like small arcane runes, more than they're actually made of energy or any physical matter. Just these little runes that occasionally flash up to the ceiling one by one, in small patterns. And you recognize these things. It almost looks like it's a puppet being puppeteered from the ceiling. And with a 30 on your Arcana check, you manage to catch some of these runes and interpret a few of them on their way. And it appears that this thing's entire consciousness comes from elsewhere. It is indeed being puppeted.
Interesting.
Aren't we all being puppeted one way or another?
We are
By the
all
justice system.
meat puppets to our brains.
We are all just goats in the machine.
That's true.
Can I tell how remote this this controller is?
Sure. I think based on the fact that you can see these little arcs of energy, these little magical arcane bindings to the ceiling here, you would imagine that if it was super long range, these things wouldn't be necessary. But since you're seeing these threads and they're connecting to a nearby physical object, which is the ceiling, you would guess that somewhere within the building at the maximum.
Good to know. Good to know.
And as you enter the room, take your spots in the center, sort of beneath a level of stairs that rise up, and then the podium is on top of that. So you're at a very low angle compared to the podium.
I don't know about the rest of you, but Clemens is going to swagger aggressively, and she will suggest you all do the same.
Very good.
That we're trying to convince them that we're not aggressive.
Clemens will saunter with dignity.
With great swagger, Clemens enters the
Yes.
room. Very good. So the doors close behind you as two of these very large constructs push them closed. A loud thud that echoes throughout the hall. And then the Collier speaks. We gather here to discuss illegal entry into Donvi. Entry by illegal means, and by a spell we have not seen before. The accused entered into the Iron Ward. We have today an angel and a devil to speak for both sides of the law and myself to interpret. Who do we have amongst the accused? And he kind of gestures down to you all for you to introduce yourselves.
My name is Carrick Offendress of the Valinor Elves.
I am Clemens Splitstream of the Silver Flame.
Milos Decaneth?
My name is Faye, Avatar of ROI.
Very well. Your names have been noted, and records are being gathered as we speak. I would ask first that you four give your recollection of events. Explain them in your own words. You may speak as a group.
I feel like we need a lawyer.
I think we have one. Looks at Faye.
Fair enough.
Us for individually or collectively?
You may give your collective interpretation of events, and you may correct each other as you see fit.
I will allow my Fae to speak for me.
Yes, Your Honor. We did use a modified oh gosh, what's the spell called? Is it gate?
Gate?
Gate.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes, we used a modified gate spell to enter this plane with the purposes of stabilizing it in order to prevent a greater calamity upon entrance we were confronted by the constructs, I believe you are aware, who told us that we had entered without permission, and believing ourselves to be going to be on the receiving end of violence, we did briefly enter combat until willingly surrendering upon realizing that this was more of an arrest sort of deal than an outright attack. Upon that point, we were transferred to holding cells and spoken to by both the angel and devil advocates that we have ourselves here, and we were then taken to the chamber. As stated, our goals for coming here were noble, and we were not aware of any such laws about the entrance to this plane. And yes, let that be said.
I think it's also worth mentioning that we were in the midst of escaping the plane of darkness, and we had no other means of escape other than the modified gate spell that we used.
The plane of
That's correct.
darkness. Yes. He will hold up a hand and point it to one of the constructs whose eye rolls back in its head and it begins kind of chugging a little bit. He says, "We will pull these records. We will find the moment of your escape to view this. In the meantime, you use the word stabilize. What stability would you bring to the plane of order? We take great care in keeping everything as stable as possible, and indeed that is one of the reasons you find yourselves here today, breaking a rule that keeps us stable."
Well, Your Honor, we've been traveling across several different planes at this point. Us and a group, another group of 4 that are allied with us. And we've been going around placing these planar anchors to try and stabilize the planes in advance of the. Oh God, what was the name of the event that's happening?
The end of the
The
My head is
universe?
shattering, but I know that's not right.
The Ascension, I believe, something Ascension.
It was a draconic extension.
It is actually just called the Ascension. I did check the notes, but yes.
In advance of the coming ascension.
The coming Ascension is not something we are aware of here. You are stabilizing multiple planes then, and ours is just one on your list.
I believe it is the last one as well.
I see. And in stabilizing these planes, you are doing what exactly?
Carrick just looks at Faye and is like, might as well explain it all.
I nod and tell you to go for it because Faye is not smart enough to explain it.
I reach into my bag and I pull out the planar anchor.
All right.
This is the planar anchor.
As you reach into your bag, the constructs around the room kind of lean forward, and then when you pull out something that isn't a weapon, they lean back again. But they don't interrupt, so you're good.
This is the planar anchor as he holds it and holds it up in the air, trying to show everyone in the courtroom. It acts as a sort of compass that leads us to. It tends to be the part of the plane with the most potent planar energy, and it will lock itself in there.
I see, and what does it do when locked in?
Well, it depends on the plane. I'm not sure how it will affect, since it tends to stabilize things and subdue them a bit. I don't know how it would do on the plane of order itself. Stability itself.
We understand that you yourselves think your goal is noble. You cannot tell a lie here, and as such, by stating that your goal is noble, we know that you at least believe that. Unfortunately, we cannot trust only your belief that your goal is noble. Many do misguided things in the name of nobility when their courses of actions are not truly just at all. If placing this anchor would indeed, well, suppress the power of the plane, this does not sound like a noble goal to us.
Your Honor, the alternative that we're trying to prevent is grand scale upheaval beyond the scope of even this plane, and if anything, I would consider the values that you hold here to be most ultimately in line with what we are trying to do, given the two choices that are ultimately afoot. I wish it were not the case. I wish we could fully keep the status quo, but with the forces that are moving here that are on a universal level, that's simply not possible. And we're doing the best we can. This I promise you, and you know I'm telling no lie.
Yes, if we do not place this anchor, it will mean the destruction of all of the order that you've worked so hard to create on this plane.
The world will come to an end one day. This is the natural order, and this we know. We do not seek to resist the natural order.
But this isn't so much natural order so much as, very cruel and monstrous divine beings shattering everything in a way that can, just sort of be ignored if certain steps are taken to allow things to just sort of go on in a less shattery sort of changing way. I suppose whatever happens is necessarily natural because it has to happen, in the world. But one of these things will allow minimal change to happen, while one results in just really terrible things happening and everybody being eaten by a dragon. So I would prefer that one doesn't happen. I would be one of the people eaten by the dragon, you see, along with everybody else. So I have a particular interest, I suppose, in making sure that this kind of order is preserved.
Hmm. Can I get a group persuasion check?
Ooh.
Indeed.
Oh no.
Ooh,
Dragons, they be eating people.
Okay,
they
Clemens,
do be
okay.
eating people. Oh.
Okay,
He's
that's
been
good
a
for
long
character.
time.
That's a fucking natural 19.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
go.
great.
Yeah,
All
Faye
right.
kind of beefed it, TBH.
That is pretty much 20s across the board or higher, on average. That's very good. So, all right.
Yeah, I would try and flash mine, so.
Okay, so that's above a 20 for everybody then. Very good. All right, so the collier will respond. The nobility of your goal has been noted. Unfortunately, that does not mean we can give you a pass on all of our laws here. But I will certainly keep it in mind for the rest of the proceedings. Thank you for the explanation of your intent and the events as you have seen them. We have now the records of your recent past. In searching through the Plane of Darkness, we also searched through for records of yourselves amongst the other planes, and he'll bring up, like holding out a hand, a projected image between you and the podium above, which will show basically a recording of, in reverse order, you guys going through the planes. He's not going to play the whole thing, but the moments where you stabilize the planes and escape. So in the Plane of Darkness, you put the thing on the pedestal beneath the broken statue, the beams of light came down, all of that. going all the way back in time to the plane of chaos originally, where you were in that nightmarescape where the world around you is changing to a different location, a different biome 10 times a second or more, while you fought some manifestation of chaos made of the terrain itself, and it stabilized that place and it became a flat desert, and and everything in between, all the planes you've encountered so far. It says, we have seen the work of this stabilization, as you call it, and it does indeed seem to negate some properties of the plane. Now, that said, it is of the natural order for planes to rise and fall as they orbit the material plane. We currently, fortunately, find ourselves in a place of great power. And the angel, Zophiel, will speak up and say, Your Honor, if I may, if these 4 individuals, the accused, are truly fighting forces of a universal scale, they may well be part of the natural order. They may be forces of the natural order themselves, and this may be the ordained time for our plane to shift to a weaker position. The collier will nod along, and then the devil will jump in, Drazarek, and say, Your Honor, if I may, regardless of if these individuals, the accused, are part of the natural order, they still have broken the order in arriving here, and as such they must be punished. And the collier will nod along as well.
What the fuck, man?
The collier will respond, Very well. And he'll ponder for a moment. Drazarek, it was under your domain that these individuals, the accused, broke the sacred laws. It would make some sense for you to select their punishment, or at least nominate one. What say you? Drazarek says, Well, I would put them to work for a time. I believe they could be of great service to us, and I believe we can find a task for them that should be agreeable to them, something that will not delay their great work for too long. Thus, the natural order that they partake in may be preserved, and their work may continue. Zophiel will also agree. This does make some sense. It would be true justice for the one harmed by their injustice so strongly to be the one to decide their fate, and working to reorganize your structure and help out in whatever way they can would certainly make sense. Zophiel will also speak. Not Zophiel. The collier will also speak. Very well. To the accused, you are to follow Drazarek, and you will do whatever tasks they have for you until they are satisfied. You are given one task for each of these 4, Drazarek, and the time allotted to each task may not surpass 3 months' time.
That's a
Do the
lot of months.
accused have any other defense they would like to bring forward, or any other points they would like to make?
May we delay the beginning of our sentence until we finish the work we're here to do? We could, I don't know, sign some sort of contract or something to promise we'll come back.
Please
Once
no
we're done.
contracts, Clements.
Oh no! This is an upstanding gentleman here, not that one down there. I'm not signing anything with him. But I have to assume they have some sort of very binding sort of thing here that It would allow everybody involved to be certain that we won't be skipping off once we've done what we need to do.
Yeah, I think another group persuasion check here.
Yeah.
A flash again.
All right, above a 20
A
for
lot of
everybody.
23s.
Yet again. The Collier will turn to Zophiel and say, Zophiel of the Angels, do you have any problem with a delay in their punishment? No, Your Honor, I think this would be quite reasonable given the circumstances, and we can have that performed on site right now. Collier will turn to Drazarek. Say, Drazarek, of the Devils, do you have anything to say on this matter?
This boy better answer carefully.
Drazarek will say, Well, Your Honor, I think the accused will find the tasks I have for them to be acceptable enough. And he will wink at you all.
He
I do
can't
not
give an
think-
answer for the life of him. It's physically impossible.
I do not think such a delayed contract will be necessary.
May we hear the proposed tasks in the presence of the court?
Roll me another persuasion check, just Faye this time.
You can do it, Faye.
Yeah, it's business time.
Regardless, this boy has just sealed his death sentence. He is not
Oh,
escaping from all of this alive.
How? What?
Um,
For real?
Oh my gosh.
Can I flash that?
You
I
can.
guess.
Yep.
Okay.
Don't we have fate points?
I think you have a couple, yeah.
It is not worth it. I will not. Thank you for the flash. It's still a fucking 20.
20 is a lot better than a lot of my persuasion rolls. So.
Drazarek will say, I would have them work a shift at the Panopticon. It is our belief amongst the devils that mortal minds such as these, especially such well-traveled and intelligent ones as they clearly are, having possessed ancient magics and on such a fated journey, that they would be able to help us interpret the cultural significance of things that come through the Panopticon rather than the literal events that we tend to record. Now, we expect them to be slower, but we are willing to accept this trade. And the Modrons that usually work at the Panopticon will come fill the roles of the workers in the mines for a time.
How long is a single shift?
I think that's another persuasion check. This is more
Alright.
to see if he's going to try and weasel out of saying things or if he's just going to, yeah, okay.
Oh,
That's
big
that's
number.
That's more like Faye.
I use the term shift to make it more understandable for you mortals, for we of this plane do not tend to change from our duties at any given time. The Modrons whose positions you would be taking over have been at their positions for, and his eyes roll back into his head and his body kind of vibrates a little bit, and his eyes roll forward again. 2,732 years. Of
Well,
course,
you were given
this is
3 months for each of us, so that's not going to work.
that is absolutely correct. We, the devils, intend to be understanding and forgiving of those who trespassed within our properties. You will raise one eyebrow at Clemens.
Can I nonchalantly glance down at my pocket where the dagger is? Like, non-suspiciously, like, forgetting.
We would have them work for 1 8-hour shift, as the mortals do.
That is what I was going to argue for. And that being the case, this is becoming a lot more, this feels a lot more reasonable of an ask, and I appreciate that,
And what
that
happens?
consideration.
What happens when that 8 hours is completed?
Then the Modrons will return to their duties, and, well, assuming all of this comes to pass, of course, it is my suggestion that then you would be set free.
It is your suggestion that we would then be set free.
Yes, that is for the collier to decide.
I see.
I'm gonna look at Carrick and just kind of like motion with my eyebrows and be like, this seems fine. We should, right?
I find the terms of our task agreeable, but 4 days? I definitely think. Or can we all do the 8 hours at the same time?
That is our intention, yes.
Oh, okay. Then
Nice.
I think this can work.
Yeah, I
Zofia
find these
will...
terms agreeable.
All right, good. Zofia will also speak up, say, Your Honor, Collieret, these terms are acceptable to the angels. However, it is our opinion that something beneath the law is at foot.
Yes, that should be clear and obvious to everybody involved. I'm kind of baffled that he's just kind of being allowed to get away with everything that comes out of his mouth here. It doesn't seem very in the spirit of justice in the slightest.
I agree with the accused, Sophia will also say. The collier will speak up. Under Divine Code number 2777, the one whose land was trespassed upon gets first say in the manner of punishment of the accused. Do you have any evidence of anything unsavory happening in the proposed terms? And you'll turn to Zophiel. And Zophiel will turn to you all. I have no evidence, but if the accused have anything, they may step forward.
Looks at Bay.
Your Honor, we have no such evidence.
All right. Very well. Zophiel, the opinion of the angels has been noted, but the court will be proceeding with the suggestions of the fiends. Court is adjourned. The accused should stay for the proceedings with Drazarek. And the body of the collier will simply lean forward and like kind of lose consciousness instead of leaving the room, as if still held up by those puppet strings. The angel will kind of shake their head a little bit, but clutch their notebook to their chest and walk out past you. Well, well, it appears things worked out for us after all. We didn't have to go through a long, drawn-out court sequence of me bringing up the evidence that may or may not be relevant to the case. That would be for the collier to decide, but I think we found a mutually beneficial position for things to land in. Wouldn't you all say?
I think we didn't have much of a choice.
Clemens is
yes.
just gonna stare silently at this point.
Well, I can't blame you. He will walk down to the podium, to the front of the podium, and kind of rap his knuckle on the front of it a couple times, and one of the panels in front of the podium will flip outwards, sort of rotating vertically, so that the entire panel has flipped 180 degrees, and on the inside is what appears to be like a large, very ornate typewriter. Yes, I will now write up the terms of our agreement. And as he holds out his hands over the typewriter, the fingers will sort of pop out of their sockets like different floating parts in front of his hands and start typing at an incredibly fast speed. It just sounds like a buzzsaw going off over there instead of like actual typing sounds. There's an incredible amount of mechanical clicking and whirring happening, and you can't quite see what he's doing from here exactly. But very quickly, a brass plate is pushed up the typewriter as runes are stamped onto it by this magical typewriter. And he, instead of like a scroll or a parchment, there's this large brass plate with the contract on it, and he'll bring it down to you all. These are the terms of our agreement. And those of you with a very high pass perception, which I think is Carrick and Milos, mostly, like in the 20-ish range.
Yeah, I've got a.
Can you please repeat that?
I was just checking for passive perceptions. I think Garrick and Milos
Gotcha.
had over 20, which was what I was looking for. Yes, so those of you with the very high passive perception notice that he is very clearly holding the contract in a way that it is not directly visible to the guards around the room, but he is making a good show of bringing the contract down before you all. He doesn't appear like he is deliberately doing so, though to you with high perception it appears very deliberate, if I'm making any sense here. He's doing a good job of hiding it, but you are all very good at seeing through that anyways. So to Faye and Clemens, it looks like he's just bringing the contract down before you. He says, "If I may get your signatures here, we may begin the work as described." The contract is written in arcane runes, so anyone who's proficient with Arcana can read it.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I would like to heavily inspect this thing.
Absolutely.
Actually,
Investigation check from anyone that would do so.
can I cast skill empowerment
Sure.
on myself? Ooh, and choose investigation. And then I'm gonna flash that.
All right, over a 30.
I am not letting anything
My
slip
nat
this
20
time.
feels
Oh, it's investigation, not
Ultra
Arcana.
concurs.
Well, it's the same either way. Or no, it's not. My investigation is worse actually. So that would be like 18, I think. Yeah.
All right.
I'll flash mine to a 23.
All right. So everybody did pretty good. Is Clemens not taking a look? Which is fine. I'm just
Clemens got a 14, I think.
Oh, thank you. It must have got buried in the chat. Oh, there it is. Yes. Excellent. The 14 is up there. Very good. So y'all did pretty good. But I mean, we have an over 30 roll for one of you, Milos. So I think Milos sees pretty much every detail in this document, which makes some sense. Milos has signed some fiendish documents before, and is somewhat familiar with inspecting them and the terms within. This one is very different than what you've seen before, though, Milos. It is not written in the same kind of language. This is much more dense legalese. And instead of being written as a contract from the point of view of the devil lord that you may have signed with previously, it is like a mutual agreement between two parties, and thus the language is all different. The tone of the document is all different. But anyways, you're able to see in this document, anyone who reads it can see that you guys are agreeing to work at the Panopticon for a short time, for 8 hours. During which time you will observe some events using special scrying equipment, and you will write down what you see. you all are directed to provide cultural interpretations of what you see based on your understanding of the culture you are seeing. As the Modrons are not so good at that. Milos notices specifically you are being asked to specifically write down cultural things. It does not ask you to write down anything more. And as this document is being handed to you with a wink and a nudge, he is probably trying to suggest to you that if you don't recognize the culture and things you're seeing, just don't write it down and move on. If this is making any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So with, again, very high score, Milos, it's seeming to you like Drazrak is suggesting, because you guys are writing down only the cultural things you see, there will essentially be a if he can strategically position you within the Panopticon, there will be a bit of a hole in the information gathering of the Panopticon. If he can point you at things that you don't recognize, then you don't write anything down, and therefore there's a camera loop going on, right? Whatever, that kind of thing. It's you're not providing the information the Panopticon is usually expecting for a certain topic, and therefore their security is not as tight as it would be otherwise. But it is all written in a way that is at least somewhat clever and tries to get around that without directly saying that to you.
Interesting.
You'll say,
Clemens
hope
is
you
down
all,
with it. Clemens would have been 100% behind this if he just opened with, "Hey guys, want to do a heist?"
Yeah,
We've really
he's
turned the boat on Clemens.
yeah, he's been very careful not to say anything outright, including in the locations where you're being recorded and such. So now he is saying to you all, like, I hope we all understand what you will be doing here, yes?
Yes, and it's very cool.
All right.
Kind of hate
Yeah,
how
let
cool
me-
it is.
There are 4 places for your signatures below.
Clemens will sign.
It's the beginning of Clemens and this guy's stepbrothers arc.
Excellent.
Yeah, I sign. Fuck yeah.
Milos will sign.
All right. Did Carrick sign? I think that's everybody, right? Carrick intended to sign at least, right?
If everyone else is, then yeah, he will.
All right. Very good. And he will immediately, once he's gotten all of your signatures, he will very quickly pull the contract back and like press it writing side down to his chest so the writing is not visible to anyone around him. He'll say, I will have this processed as soon as possible, and do know that any contracts written in this court are protected by the court. And he will gesture to the very large constructs around the room. These constructs, one for each of you, has been bound between you and the contract, and if the contract were to be broken in any way, the magic would activate, and, well, you would be on a bit of a manhunt. They would be coming for you as quickly as they can, which is quite fast, as you've seen in the past. So I would not try to get around the contract at all. That is your fair warning.
Oh, I wouldn't try to get around it if I were in your position either.
Of course not. I am bound to this place just like all others who live here. But I am glad we have come to an understanding. Now, if you'll all head to the Prime Gate, I will arrange for your passes to be available, so that you may travel to the Panopticon as soon as possible. You may head directly to the front of the line. They will be awaiting you. And Jazarek will turn around and head back up towards the podium in order to exit through a door behind it. The door behind you all slowly swings open.
Shall we swagger forward to the Panopticon?
Absolutely. Swag.
Can I get 10 minutes, you guys? I have a very unpleasant feeling in this place.
Yeah, yeah, whatever you need.
Great. Um, well, Milos is gonna spend 10 minutes performing a ritual and spend a charge from one of his soul coins.
Mhm.
And his weapons will alight with hellfire.
Ooh, very nice. Which I believe during that process you essentially summon like a hellish forge temporarily around you in order to perform this
Yes.
work, and then it goes away afterwards. Yeah, I just
That
wanted
is
to
so
visually
cool.
describe that because it is cool.
Very cool.
Milos just keeps pulling out pieces of like hellfire steel equipment to lay around the place. That's probably most of the ritual, and then you just quickly work on your tools within this place and put it all back away. Yeah,
All right.
so you got the hellfire enchantment temporarily.
Sorry for the wait. Let's go.
All right, so do I assume that you guys are just headed directly for the prime gate as you were directed, or do you want to try and do anything else on the way? Like, what's the plan here?
Clemens just wants to go and get the work done.
Yeah, let's get it done for sure. The only thing I would think is if we can pay some measure of attention to just like as we're traveling through the city, just keep an eye on the compass and see if we can like map out a little bit like where it's going.
All right, yeah, fair enough. So it is a little tricky. Once you exit this great hall and you find your way out of the building very quickly. The courthouse you were in leads into a hallway. You can see people entering, leaving through doors around you, and very clearly on one side of the hallway there is a large set of double doors. And when I say large, I mean probably like 40, 50 feet tall, pretty huge, that is being operated by large constructs, which leads out of the building. So you're able to head on out of the building. But what you exit into is it's not a city like one that you've ever seen before. Unless any of you have been to Sharn, perhaps, which I'm not
Hey.
certain about. Okay, so Milo says, yeah.
Mhm.
So Sharn is a very if anyone else has too, just
I can't remember which one is Sharon.
Sharn is the capital of Breland, which is basically, I think I've described it previously, and I think it's pretty accurate. It is Eberron, New York City, essentially. It is
Yeah, I
a
don't think I've been there.
very vertical city that is sort of ruled by like mob bosses and stuff, and it's got the people that live in wealth up very high, like miles high into the air, and the people that are very poor live down closer to the earth, and everything in between. And the city is taller than it is wide. It's a city of towers, and it's pretty crazy. So the
Yeah.
the city of towers feels what I'm going for here, because this place is not necessarily as chaotic or as dirty or as organic as Sharn is in its construction, but it is very vertical. You exit this great hall, and before you is a pathway that has some like train cars going back and forth that are suspended beneath rails that they ride upon. There are modrons going to and forth in single file lines all around this place, some larger constructs and angels and devils. Everyone's in a hurry to get somewhere, it appears, and everything moves quite quickly here and at quite an even pace. But beyond this walkway, it appears that there's just a straight drop off beneath, as you are on a very vertical structure with many buildings organized through it, and there's kind of a large chasm between this walkway and the next one over bridges spanning across it back and forth and such. It is a pretty massive structure. Many different things around you are made of very large gears that are spinning and interconnecting, and some of the modrons are waiting for two gears to click into place so that they can walk between one gear and the next, and so on and so forth. But everything moves in perfect order, and people arrive. It doesn't appear that any machine is waiting for another machine for very long before things connect up and things move along, so on and so forth. Yeah, if you bring out the world anchor, it would point in a direction. It would point along the it doesn't point to any landmark you can see from here, but it would point along the walkway in one direction. So you at least have a guide of sorts. But yeah, you can, from here you cannot see your destination.
Then we just continue to saunter down the pathway,
All
I
right.
assume.
Yeah, sounds like it. So
Very good.
you merge into the foot traffic of this place and make your way up several flights of stairs, continuing farther and farther up. Occasionally, you have to walk across some cogs and make sure you don't get tripped up by their spinning, so on and so forth. Until you arrive at the very top of the structure you're in. You sort of reach the surface. If you were on the wall of a chasm before, where the Great Halls were, you've now reached the surface and you can see across the chasm to the other side. And beyond, you can see there are multiple rows of these chasms going deep into the surface of this planet, if you could call it that, this plane. So it appears they make very good use of space here. Everything is very stacked up, and they use lots and lots of vertical space so that they don't just run out of horizontal space. And yeah, now you're at the very top of it, and you can see up above there are rail cars moving incredibly fast, hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of feet, some of them, up above you, above the chasm you're in currently, forming like rings around the planet. All going in like the same direction, back and forth. Yeah, and you can see your compass is pointing to what appears to be a train station up ahead. You have to climb some more flights of stairs to get up to it, where the rails come down to meet it. I don't hear
We'll
any extra
walk up the
interjections.
ramp.
Yep, so I assume you'll head straight up there. At the top, find that you are at the Prime Gate, as you were described before. You see a massive amount of people here, whether they are Modrons or angels or devils, and also many different just types of mortals here. Most of the mortals you see here appear to be either fairly wealthy or fairly powerful in some way or another, whether that's actual physical power or political power, or maybe they're a very powerful devil lord from another plane, and a very powerful angel from another plane, so on and so forth. Many different beings of all different varieties here, and they're all waiting in lines here, up to several like ticketing windows around the place. Trains pass through the middle of this place occasionally. There are warning signs that pop up when a train is approaching. There are several rows of trains between either side of the station. And yeah. Milos.
Mm-hmm.
I did mention a very powerful devil lord for a reason.
Yeah, you did.
And that is because you recognize one waiting in line currently.
Yeah.
He's near the head of the line that he's in.
Is fighting illegal in this plane? I've forgotten.
I don't know that you've been necessarily read all of the laws of this plane, but you would probably assume so, yes.
Oh. I don't know. I'm gonna carefully step up to like Faye and tap her shoulder, point out, "Hey, Faye, that's the devil lord that I made a contract with previously. So we should watch out."
Oh fuck. Do you is that contract resolved? Is it just bad
I don't
that he's here?
know. He doesn't seem to be very happy with me. I'll take out the knife and show it to her. He seems to want me to kill my cat. I
Is this
don't
a private
know.
conversation between you two?
It's like loudly, not loudly whispered, but like if we're standing close enough together, everyone would be able to hear it.
Your cat? You mean Neko?
That's what the dagger says, Carrick.
Okay, yeah, that's fucked up. That's bad. I do. I'm really, I'm really scared to do anything
Yeah,
until
so am
we've
I.
accomplished what we need to do.
I'm just
Um,
scared in general. I don't like this.
yeah, I mean, let's keep our wits about us at the very least. Maybe we'll stick around once we stabilize. See if we can do
Um,
something about this.
I I don't think the contract is in effect anymore, and that's why he's mad because of the plane of peace shenanigans that we did. Um, but he's got to be pissed at me for that.
Okay.
So we should probably be on our guard either way.
Well, I guess he knows. On one hand, I obviously don't want anything to happen right now, but he must know you're here.
Does
If
he?
maybe not. I mean, I'm only thinking if he made that ploy against Neko, sending you that message, I thought that would mean that he knows that you're here, but maybe that's wrong. Maybe that would have reached you anywhere. So, yeah, all
I
the more
thought
so
maybe it was
let's
because he
not.
was just a dick.
So true. Yeah, let's not let him see us at the very least.
I like that plan.
What works in your favor is that you weren't with any of us when you signed your deal with him.
Yes, well, I guess no one was really there. I
Oh,
just kind of got yoinked when I got uh knocked unconscious. So I don't know how much he knows. I'm just concerned.
Well, I certainly understand the concern. Let's make sure he doesn't see us. We can circle back on this if we need to.
All right.
All right. So, are you guys headed to the front of the line to get your tickets? Your gate passes?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Weren't we able to skip the line?
That's why we're headed to the front of the line.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was getting a drink, so I wasn't here for the last few minutes.
No worries.
I'd like to put my like throw my cloak on, put my hood up, try and lightly conceal myself.
All right. If you're trying to hide, then I think give me a stealth check.
Yeah.
Are you
Wait.
motioning for us all to stealth with
No,
you?
no. Milos just wants to make himself slightly less recognizable.
Gotcha.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
you guys are going to barge into the front of the line, so you won't be
Yeah.
like invisible. You're just trying. Miles is just trying to not be recognized.
Can I
That's pretty stealthy.
also Clements, can I borrow that dagger
yes,
of
of
lesser
course.
invisibility? Let
The
me
dagger of
just
Skellingtoning.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, it
take
can
it.
do other things too. I would like to use the dagger of lesser invisibility, which is actually a dagger of alter self, to change my appearance and appear as though I were the House Cannith representative that 3M had met in Reckonmark that gave Leroy the fancy arm.
In Reckon Mark, gave Leroy the fancy arm.
Well, we traded for it, but
Right,
yeah,
the
the fancy
orb that
arm.
got absorbed in Leroy's arm, right? That one?
Yeah.
Okay. The house can represent from there. Okay. Yep, fair enough.
Just some random
Yeah,
guy that
I don't
my list
remember
remembers.
what they looked like, but I know who you're talking
Oh, I
about.
don't either.
So, yeah. You just look like a different House Cannith person, yep.
Yeah. I'll hand the dagger back to Clements. Thank you.
You're welcome.
To be fair, you already are a tiefling compared to the human you were before. So there is,
Well,
you know, some difference, but
just to be careful.
yep, no, that's fair.
Oh, I also lose concentration on skill empowerment. There we go.
Here is one thing I think. Here's one thing I'll say as you get this plan. I like this plan. However, I think Milos would know this. I don't want to trap you with this because I think Milos would know this.
Yeah.
Because you rolled very good on your stealth as well. Magic that transforms you in such a way often would give you away to creatures that have very powerful fiends and celestials that would have true sight, because true sight can reveal to you the original form of anything that has been shape changed by magic. So I think the plan of the quote unquote lesser invisibility is really cool. I think Milos would actually know, because of your super proficiency with magic and intelligence and all this stuff. That would probably actually give you away more than it would help.
Well, my
Would
list
you
is
like
gonna
to wear my coat? It's a polar bear.
I'm good. I have my own cloak. Milos will look at the dagger, think about it, and then shake his head and hand it back. Never mind. Sorry.
All right. So you're just gonna pull your cloak up over your head, kind of thing, and just try to blend in. You still got really high stealth, so that works out pretty well for you. Okay.
Holy shit! That was 2 nat 20s.
Holy shit! Woo.
What the fuck?
Sometimes it happens. I saw there's been a couple times recently because Drost has been the recipient of foresight in the other group, and he's rolled some natural ones even with foresight just because of how many attacks he throws out, and it just happens sometimes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's rough. But so 2 natural 20s is incredible. So yeah, you blend into the crowd. You head up to the front. There's a bit of discord in the people at the front of the line as you all pass by them and head to the front. But when the other Modrons around you and other high-ranking constructs don't step in, and it's obvious that you're supposed to be here, despite the line being so long, they quiet down pretty quick. They don't want to get in the way of anything that's supposed to happen due to the laws of this place. So while you get some kind of annoyed and dirty looks, nobody steps out or nobody calls out or anything unfortunate, and people let you by and up to the front. And yeah, you meet at the window of at the ticketing window that you're at a construct, again much like a Warforged, but not the same as the Caliorite you saw before. Much simpler in nature. And it only has one very large eye. And this appears to be a simple Modron designed for this task alone. It has no real armor or anything. It's very thin and wiry, and basically only has enough mechanical functioning to perform its duties. It says, "Present your identification and destination."
Were we given ID papers?
Clemens will just
You were
stick out her
not.
hand.
Yeah, you're not given ID papers or anything. No.
I'm Clemens Splitstream of the Silver Flame, and we're here to begin our court-ordered shift on the Panopticon.
Its eye rolls back for a second. It whirs a little bit, and as I rolls forward, it says, Clemens recognized. Authorized printing ticket, and it will dip down beneath the desk for a moment and come back up with a very stereotypical looking ticket. You wonder why a very like an arcade machine ticket you like tear off on one side, and you wonder why the plane of order still uses these things, but it does.
Are all arcade machines just Modrons?
Probably. You hear it actually tear the ticket off down there somewhere. It says,
That's amazing.
your ticket will be punched on the train. It holds it out to you.
Thank you.
Good luck at the Panopticon. And it bows, and then one of the others of you can step up, and we don't have to go through one by one here, but you all get your tickets in a manner similar to Clemens, unless you would like to do something different.
I'd like to see if the Madron understands Celestial.
Okay.
And relay my information that way.
Okay, it does. It would understand Celestial. Yes, it understands all spoken language.
Woo.
It is designed as an interplanar communicator, essentially. So yeah, you can speak in Celestial to it. And do you just do the same thing as Clemens?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let your stealth roll stick for that then, I think. Cool. You all get your tickets. They each just have your name and destination printed on them, but the ink that they're printed with appears to be magical in some nature. It's very shiny. It's like kind of sparkly in a little ways. As you tilt it in the light, you can see how like almost glittery the whole ticket is. So even though this looks like an ordinary like arcade machine ticket, there's something special about it for sure. And yeah, you get to wait for your train to arrive. As you do so, the lines around you progress a little bit. And Milos, you see Belle take a seat on a nearby bench, also waiting for a train.
Milo's gonna keep vibing like there's nothing wrong. One day.
Don't make eye contact.
If I can't see him, he can't see me. Right?
You still have Neko out.
Oh fuck. Well, Neko was in the cell with me.
So I think probably yes then.
Yeah.
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 So at some point while you're sitting here at the station, you see Bell is very he's got some frustration in him as he's walking around. You know, he takes the ticket from the Modron with force, comes over and like plops down on the bench and kind of tapping his foot impatiently. Clearly he's not happy about something, but knows that he can't get too out of line here in the place that he is. And then as he looks around the room in his impatience, just finding something else to focus on, he sees Neko. It does kind of a double take, and then looks at you hiding beneath the cloak and just continues to stare.
So he's absolutely noticed me then.
I think so. I think with your stealth check, you've been able to keep an eye on him for this long without him you've seen him first very clearly, and you're able to get through the ticket line without him interfering and stuff. But now that you're out in the open waiting for a train to arrive and he's had time to just look around, he's noticed Neko at this point.
I'm gonna give him a gentle smile and a little wave before returning back to the party.
Very visibly crumples his ticket in his hand.
Well, seems he's noticed.
The train arrives between you and Bell. And it is your train.
Convenient. Get on the train. I mean, it's our train.
Yeah, the
We're
train
done?
has
Yeah.
signs over the top of it that are, well, not over the top of each door that are flashing panopticon on them. Yeah, which is clearly your
convenient.
destination. Yes. So it is very much like a subway car. Essentially, all of these cars are, except that it is suspended below the rail instead. And you guys can all board, find your seats. And Milos, you very quickly notice that Bell has noticed you board this train and has boarded it as well.
Oh no.
A Modron begins going from chair to chair, asking for tickets as the train picks up speed. When he gets to you all, if you would present your tickets,
Of course.
Oh yeah.
all right, you'll simply
Yep.
punch a hole in each and keep moving after examining them briefly. Your train is picking up speed, and you can see ahead of you, if you look out the windows, you're headed towards a gate suspended in the air where the rail abruptly ends. As the Modron moves on from your cart into the next cart, begins examining tickets as it keeps on moving down the train. I need you all to make dexterity saving throws.
Okay.
This fucking guy.
Oh no.
Where's Neko?
I'm gonna try to arcane deflect the train.
Okay.
I'll have a 1 second, let me just double check that. Yep, 14 dex save.
All right, let me double check the save DC here. Okay. Going down the list, dexterity saving throws. Clowns, you deflected to what total?
14.
14. Faye, 15. 18, 11, and 16. Were any Flash of Geniuses added to these?
Not mine.
Okay. Cool. So all of those are failures.
Yeah.
You're sitting in your train wondering what's about to happen. There's tension in the air as you know Bella's on this train. You know he's angry. And you doubt he was headed to the Panopticon originally and probably just had his ticket asked for. And suddenly, a swarm of meteors appears in the air above the train, raining down onto the train all around
God.
you as Bell casts Meteor Swarm. And this is what the dexterity save was for.
Oh, fuck.
Fortunately, you are all inside the train, which is well insulated against magic, and as such, you will not be taking the fire damage part of the spell, but you will be taking the impact damage as the whole train is rocked and shaken around by the force of these meteors hitting it. And as the train grinds to a halt from the meteors absolutely wrecking the shit out of this train, you all take, because you all failed the roll, 73 impact damage.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh.
The Modrons in the cart begin running to and fro trying to fix things while the rest of the mortal passengers begin screaming and clutching at wounds and are bleeding out on the floor, and it's chaos currently. Very quite a contrast from the order you've been used to on this plane.
There better be like 30 jacked robot dudes who immediately teleport in and beat that guy to a pulp, or there is no justice on this plane.
Yeah, rules go both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Clemens is going to crawl angrily out of the broken glass of the train car and try to like clamber on top of the wreckage and scream angrily as she tries to see whoever did this. I don't know if Clemens would she have specifically known the guy who was doing this?
I
Like
think
she wasn't there when Carrick had the connection with him before.
I think Milos pointed them out to the whole group a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, this
Gotcha.
is what they look like. Angry devil dude.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Satan. So Yeah, as Clemens climbs up and looks around trying to see who did this, you see this large angry devil pushing his way through the train and shoves open the door into the train at the far end of this car. And at this point, we need to roll for initiative. And yes,
Hell yeah.
there probably will be people coming. But
Woo.
for now, they did take some time before. So yeah, everybody is in, it looks like. Very good. This combat will likely bleed in the next session. But we might as well start it. There's a half an hour left.
And these should be at advantage from foresight, is that correct?
Yes. If anyone needs their initiative
Oh,
updated, let me know. Clemens
I'll
goes
go
to
to a
28.
28, thank you.
Very good. This makes sense as Clemens was looking around when Bell entered the cart.
I rolled the same thing twice.
All right.
Yep, we're at 15.
Milos, is yours accurate?
Yes, it should be.
All right. We begin combat with Clemens, and I will get music going in the meantime.
Clement screams, "Silver flame, guide my hand!" and then angrily fires an arrow.
Very good.
Does a 22 hit?
It does hit indeed.
And there we go with the music.
Indeed.
That's 22, and then 20 lightning from the smite, which is going to make a second attack.
All right. That also hits. I'll also say, for the purposes of ranges, it doesn't matter right now because Clemens has a pretty long range, but he's probably about 50 feet away from you at the moment and approaching. Just so that we have a little bit of an idea.
I'm going to second wind, and
right.
then pass turn.
All right. It is Bell's turn. Bell is going to fly up to you, Clemens. So I think since you got up, you're at the top of initiative. You're probably on the closer side of everyone at the moment. Just narratively, I think that makes some sense. So he's going to fly directly up to Clemens. Actually, no. He's going to stay where he is for now, and he's going to drop a. He's going to drop a fireball.
It's okay, Milos. We will bear your sins together.
Oh.
So everybody make another dexterity saving throw as he drops a fireball in the group. Oops, that is the wrong button. Thank you, Foundry.
Oh, no.
My bad. There it is.
Oh, wow. Not bad, actually.
Okay, dexterity saving throws. We have 21, a 19, a 22. Who am I missing? Carrick. Thank you. Ooh, 22. Ooh. Anything being added to any of these?
If I fail, I will Arcane Deflect to go to 23.
Okay. Everybody fails but Clemens because a 23 does pass after you deflect.
Oh dear.
I needed a crit. Fuck.
I couldn't even get it with a crit.
Yeah, unfortunate for Carrick. So that is I rolled low, 22 fire damage, half on a success.
Can I use my reaction to what's it called? Absorb elements at second level?
Sure. Ooh. You absorb some fire.
Oops. Oh wait, oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, so Neko takes half damage. Yes, then after firing the fireball, Bell will walk up to Clemens, putting himself a lot closer to you all. I assume you're all fairly close together at the start here, just kind of in adjacent seats and stuff. So he's probably
yeah, that would just make sense.
probably within
Yeah.
10 feet of you at minimum here.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention when you said how much the fireball does.
Oh, no worries. 22 fire damage. Rolled somewhat low
Thank
for
you.
fireball. All right. Eric, you're up.
All right, Garrus is gonna run up and, as he passes Milos, he's just gonna say, "Old friend, I take it."
Friend. You could call it that.
No matter. I'll just run up, swinging my double-bladed scimitar and do my blade song, and then take some attacks.
All right.
Taking 27 hits.
That does.
Oh, hold on. I have 4 left. There we go.
All right. Slashing thunder, lightning damage. Very good. 22 also hits. Much higher.
All right, that's my turn.
All right. The end of your turn, he is going to drop another fireball on you. The run of dexterity saving throws.
Oh my god, I'm going down for sure.
Because he can just do that as a legendary action.
Fortunately, I can only arcane deflect once.
Oh,
Can I flash Faye?
You may.
oh bless. I can't-
Wait, no, I can't.
This
Fuck,
doesn't
I used my
seem-
reaction. Sorry.
That's true, you already used that. This doesn't
okay,
seem
this
like the
is a-
situation for flashing, but you know, if that's your thing.
Hey, anytime, anywhere. But yeah, no, this is gonna be a favored by the gods for sure, because I know
Alright.
I'm that close. Yep. Pass
So it
Rooney.
passes.
They pass.
I don't think that even takes a reaction or anything, right? It just happens.
Yeah.
One special action. Yep. Okay. Cool. So yes, you pass.
So as that next fireball hits, Clemens is going to yell, "It's gonna take me a few seconds to get it up, but everybody get to as close to me as you can. I'm gonna put a globe of invulnerability up."
All right. Very good. That was the end of Carrick's turn. The damage was 20. Damn. Not hitting the hefty fireballs tonight, I gotta say. So half on a success is normal. It's fire damage. Milos, you're up.
Succeeding stacks with my fire resistance from
Yes.
okay, so
It'll be quarter damage. Or, well, you have to round down twice, so it's kind of a weird situation, but yes.
but it was 20, right?
20, so yeah, it would be 5.
That's 5. Okay.
Yep.
Milos is gonna dust the ashes of his cloak off his body. Long time no see, Vel. Take a few steps towards Clements, and release 2 bolts from his crossbow.
All right.
22.
That's a hit.
All right, and oops, that wasn't at advantage. But I'll roll a d20. Nope. And
2 hits.
woo, d6. For 19 mix of lightning, fire, piercing, and another 5 fire from Quiver of Energy.
All right.
And then for the second shot, another 15 and 3 more from the Hellfire.
Okay. So looking over this damage, you absorbed the elements, right? Did you hit fire damage?
Oh,
again?
I didn't. Oh, I didn't count that. Hold on, that has to release, doesn't it? Nope, it's for a melee attack. Never mind. I don't get it.
And you used ranged. Okay, that makes sense. Fair enough. So you got the quiver of energy, the hellfire. What does the hellfire do again? Remind me. I know I literally wrote it, but it's been a while.
It's just 1d6 fire damage.
Okay. So you do notice that it does not seem to take fire damage, unfortunately. But
Okay.
you got the rest in there. Apply damage. Apply damage. Apply damage.
And I will use my bonus action to have Neko repair.
All right.
For 17 health.
All right. Bell will say to you, Milos, if you approached him and spoken with him. You will pay for what you have done. You cannot avoid payment by going through some other means. Not after I gave you such a generous offer originally. And then you had the gall to reject it, only for me to come back with an even sweeter deal for you. And yet you still won't pay? No. And he will slam his sword into the ground and cut a hole in the train from below. And the sword is covered with fire, but the crack he opens in the floor gets condensed with cold as the air condenses to it and moisture freezes into ice. And from the ice arises an ice devil. And then it is Faye's turn. I'll roll initiative for this one separately.
I hate
Well,
that so much.
My
All
little
right.
spit blood on the ground.
Okay. Well, thanks. I hate it. I'm going to do a real fat heal. So that's gonna be going up to Clements and Milos and hitting them with a twin heal for 70 HP apiece.
Thank
And
you very
then
much.
for a beautiful holy trinity of circumstance, because currently my max HP is 140, I'm going to use my bonus action of Unearthly Recovery to recover half of my HP value since I'm below half, which happens to be 70. So that's a triple 70, everyone.
Woo!
Fucking play the game to mercy
Yeah,
right there.
you ever
Alright.
see 210 hit points healed in a single turn? Because damn. Like, is power word heal even that much?
He should be really afraid at this point. He just saw like a bunch of battered and bloody corpses just kind of get back up perfectly fine.
Pretty much,
I was like
yeah.
mad fucked up too. that
was like,
really.
Yeah, that
I
was cute. How about for round 2?
But yes, I'm keeping very close to Clements because I am. Give me that globe. But yeah, that's my turn. I'm just gonna hold up.
All right. Very good, very good. So then, yes, it becomes Clements' turn.
Alright, because I used Arcane Deflect last turn, I cannot cast a leveled spell this turn. Is he within 5 feet of me, or is he still at range?
Yes, he's in with the five. Oh, that is also a good thing to remember, actually. Apologies. I'm going to say, in the moment, there was some adrenaline, so we skipped it before, but everybody make me a wisdom save against fear for starting your turns within range now. I'm going to let your attacks have gone through, because that's my mistake for forgetting it, but you may become afeared.
Clemens' one weakness.
Cool,
Wisdom.
I'm just buffing anyway.
Yep, that's fair. So Milos passes. Everyone else fails versus fear. You are currently afraid of Bell, and that comes with all the normal fear things. Disadvantage and can't move towards him willingly. Yes, but you may continue to take your turn. Clemens, he is within 5 feet of you.
Alright, I cast Shocking Grasp,
Alright.
which will be neutral because fear, right?
Shock and grasp, neutral because fear, yes. He is wearing armor. Advantage is still cancels out though. So,
Yeah. All right. I assume an 11 doesn't hit.
that does not hit, unfortunately.
I am going to take 5 steps back and probably take attack of opportunity.
Yeah. Let me double check. I think yes, he will just take an attack of opportunity. He will swing with his greatsword. At disadvantage because you're a foresight. 20 to hit.
That will not hit.
All right, so he swings at you as you take a step back, but he misses.
Let me just real quick check this one roll. Okay, cool. I don't have to hit with it. Because I have War Magic, I can make a weapon attack after casting a cantrip. So, blam.
Yes, that's right. That does not hit, unfortunately.
All right, pass turn. Just a few more seconds, she shouts.
All right. Bell will turn to Milos yet again now that Clemens is out of the way and say, "You will not get away this time." You hold out a hand towards you and utter a few arcane words, and I need you to make a wisdom save, Milos.
Okay.
Oh, that's very good, yes.
Woo! Papa.
Ooh, do I want to spend a fate point on this?
You
I think
could,
I will.
but
I
I
would give you guys one
okay,
back.
okay.
I'll give the party I'll give the party my final fate point. I'll do it. This is a cool story moment.
Final fate point.
But it's still a 24, which this one had a slightly higher DC. It was a 24. You passed. Just
Thank fuck.
barely on the edge.
That is the beef.
Milos
As,
is just staring Bell down.
He casts what appears to be an incredibly powerful spell, a 9th level spell at Milos. But Milos, chains from the floor come up to wrap around you. How do you avoid this with your magic?
Chains from the ground.
Yes.
Like a fool, chains on the ground.
I'm going to see the chains begin to emerge from the ground, and then calculate a couple quick steps that I can take to avoid the grasp of all of the chains.
All right. So you swiftly dodge between them really quickly as the chains grasp at nothing at an after image of where you were previously and get pulled down to the floor. And they wrap around a plate of the floor of the train and squeeze it tightly, but there is no flesh within for them to restrain. And so the chains disappear. And Bell will grumble at you and say, "I see it won't be that easy, but I will get you." And then Carrick's turn. Actually, before Carrick's turn, apologies. Lair action at initiative 20, which is not a lair action for Bell, but a lair action for the plane. I rolled a d4 when Bell started attacking for the number of rounds before the cops show up, essentially. And their initiative is 20. So outside the train, those massive constructs that had arrested you before will be crawling outside the train, kind of like leaning down over them, and like looking into the windows from above, and holding out a hand saying, "Do not resist!" And he's going to make a charisma saving throw against being yoinked away by them.
Who is?
Bell
So funny.
Oh.
On sheer instinct, Clemens screams, "It's the Popo! We gotta get out!"
No, they're on our side, I think. I hope.
So they reach out a hand towards Bell, and he's going to burn a legendary resistance. And then it is Carrick's turn.
Aha!
Let me help you out, as he says to the people trying to banish him. I think that's what they're doing. And I'm gonna run over and take a few more attacks.
All right.
Wait, no, I'm afraid right now.
You are. And I just remembered as well, one of the planar things here is rolling a 10 on your first roll of each round, which I totally forgot, but I'll try to keep that in mind for next time, but that's fine. Either way, it is your turn. I'll try to remember that from now on. Remember, your first roll of every turn is automatically a 10.
All right.
Rolls in this place.
So I guess. So what does Sphere do again? I can't move any closer to him willingly.
And you have
And
disadvantage while you're in line of sight to him, yeah.
How close am I to him right now? Because I was within 5 feet of him.
He has not moved, so still within 5 feet.
All right. I will just take my attacks at disadvantage.
All right. That is a hit.
Ooh, nice. All right. And I'll do one more attack with my bonus action. And also, I just remembered my first roll could have been a 10, but it
would have hit. Yeah, you're good. Essentially, for this guy, it just means that, yeah, the first roll of each turn is just going to hit, so, for most of you. I think for all of you, the attack modifiers are pretty high at this point.
So -4 from that last damage roll.
Okay, thank you. Pretty good. Anything else, Carrick?
That'll be my turn.
Alright, at the end of your turn, he's dropping a new fireball. Dex saves for everybody. He is
Where'd
point
that
blank
go, Steve?
range, and he's just dropping it at his feet and at the feet of his minion, but they do not seem to care. It does not appear that he is careful spelling or anything like that. They're just not giving a shit about it.
Let's soak that.
Any reactions going out?
Nope.
Alright, Milos saves, everyone else fails. That is another 20 fire damage. And then it is Milos' turn.
Give me the heat.
Yeah, I'm gonna spit a little bit more blood on the ground at Bell's feet. Take out the burning dagger in my pocket and hold it up to him. I gave you your payment. And tap a button at his side to summon Meko.
Ah, okay. Big cat.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Acquiring Meko token. I always lose it.
What size are both of these creatures, by the way?
They're both large. You are in a
Um,
train. I don't know if you can fit. I mean, I guess you could tear through the ceiling with Mecha or something, but I don't think Mecha will fit
Kool-Aid
comfortably within
Man
the
him,
train.
yeah.
Yeah. They're both already kind of like hunching in
fine.
here. So if you want a Kool-Aid Man through the ceiling, that's a possibility.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think Meko's gonna have a really hard time moving around in here, but you're within 5 feet for now, so that's not too much of a problem.
And then I still have my bonus action if that's my action, right?
Yes, correct.
Cool. I'm gonna command Meko to attempt to grapple Bell. No, I'll grapple the Ice Devil first.
Okay. Opposed athletics or acrobatics, or athletics for you, acrobatics for them, potentially.
Okay.
Yes, that looks accurate. They rolled a 19. What did you roll?
25.
All right, yeah, you've grappled. All right, anything else on this?
No, but I like to imagine that the black dagger in Milos' hand is just slowly searing into his skin.
All right.
And Pat's turn.
Okay, at the end of your turn, guess what? It's fireball time. That's right, new deck saves for everybody. Let's do it. And he drops another one at the feet of everybody.
Oh,
Sorry, how much
32.
damage was the last one?
20, I believe. Let me go up. Yes, 20 was the last one. Very good, very good. Anything being added to any of these before I announce?
I
No.
think I can favor it again.
I'll flash mine.
Okay. Here it goes up
Yeah,
to
it's just 2
26.
sorcery points. Yeah, I'm gonna. I actually don't think I can possibly fail it if I favor the gods, because that's minimum.
Correct. Yeah,
It's
minimum
2.
would do it, so you're good there. So Meko fails, Clemens fails, everyone else passes. This is 26 fire damage, or 13 on a success. It is then the Ice Devil's turn. And now currently I picture Carrick and Clemens up, or no, Clemens backed off, right? So it's Carrick up front. Milos potentially up front too, or is Milos in back?
Yeah,
with the back
Milos
row?
is
Up front.
stepped up.
Okay,
Yeah.
and Meko is probably standing over both of you up front. But the other two, which would be Clemens and Faye, are probably behind Meko at the moment. So what the Ice Devil is going to do is it's going to take its spear and kind of slash it through the air as if it's drawing a line, and then behind Faye and Clemens, a wall of ice rises up from the floor. I need both of you to make a dexterity saving throw. It's a very dex save heavy fight.
What a day to not be a rogue.
You're right.
Oh, damn.
It'd be awesome if I could roll decently on one of these saving throws.
Yeah, don't, keep in mind your first roll should always be a 10 on these two, just in case you roll lower than that.
I gotcha.
Wait, that's an improvement. I get a 22.
Yes. 22, very good. Clemens, are you adding anything to yours?
No.
Okay. Milos and... Oh wait, Milos, you didn't need to roll. I'm sorry.
Oh, my bad.
Apologies. Yeah, so you're good. It was only Faye and Clemens that were in the back line, so... Faye passes, Clemens fails. This is cold damage, 29 of it, or half on a success. Which would be 14 on a success. And you are pushed. You're normally it would push you if you were like in the wall, but instead it is blocking off your path from getting farther down the train away from the fight currently. Yes, and I'll leave that spell up so I know the stats of the wall. But the wall persists as an object that can be, destroyed and stuff. But it is currently in the way. And Faye, it is your turn.
You say it was between us and the others on the
No,
team?
it is keeping you from escaping. It is behind
Oh,
you
okay.
so that you cannot run away and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, who's got the least health right now?
Clemens is down to 57
And that's down from how much?
from 152.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm going to, in that case, do a cheeky little double heal on me and Clemens.
Thank you.
Yeah, so 70 apiece, and probably gonna be all I do. No, just take those juicy heals, and let's bide the time. I'm also gonna just like kind of like wave out the door to the cops, kind of trying to be like, help. 'Cause I really, despite us having just Kool-Aided the train, I'm kind of trying to put forth the view that we are we're being attacked. We're not attacking.
They've tried nothing and they're all out of ideas. They're gonna just go back and file a report.
They do know it wasn't us that cast Meteor Swarm on the train. At least. So
There's got to be some spell metadata that they can see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does
that's
appear
great.
somehow they have information. But Faye, unfortunately, at the end of your turn, I bet you can guess what's coming.
Does it rhyme with Wirefall?
It does. That's a good point. It does rhyme with that actually. So you
Oh,
can do
damn it.
3 of them
Oh,
around.
yeah.
Yay.
You gotta
that's
love
another.
you gotta love a boss that has at will fireball and also has a legendary action. Yeah, don't forget your 10s.
And also doesn't seem to take damage from fire, so he can just shotgun it at point blank range.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm taking this damage.
I just want to point out this double nat 1, which is unfortunate.
Oof.
Garrick, dear God.
That's not okay.
One of those is a 10, but that's still only a 12 total, unfortunately. Let's see, going up the line, the 3 there should have been a 10. The 18, unfortunately, Clemens should have been a 10.
Oh, gotcha. I forgot that it actively changes to a 10, not that it's minimum 10.
The first roll becomes a 10. Yeah, it's weird. Because technically you should be rolling 1 die and taking 10 if it's higher, but when we're rolling advantage, just substitute the first one. So 10 plus 5 is 15. I think... Sorry, did Milo say something earlier?
My list got a 22 because I am dumb and roll 2 dice.
Oh, I see. And yes, okay, the 22. So that looks to me like everyone failed this one, unfortunately, for 23 fire damage. Fortunately, Faye's keeping you guys pretty well alive here. And it is now Clemens' turn. I want to get to the next initiative count 20 for another lair action, and then we will end for the night.
Thank you. So
Okay.
Clemens has been trying to gather enough energy that she keeps shotgunning away to Arcane Deflect. She finally has enough energy that she casts Globe of Invulnerability.
All right.
Now this is going to be hopefully not too much of a headache for you, Jordan, but what we previously did in this game is that the globe moves with Clemens. It is... Let's see, it is a 10-foot radius around her. She is going to try to position herself to protect allies as best as she can while keeping the enemy out of the globe.
Yes, unfortunately that might be tricky right now. You might have to do some parkour because
Yeah.
there's a wall of ice keeping you within 10 feet of the Ice Devil and Belle at the moment. Because you're sort of all packed up towards the front currently, and then they drew the wall behind you. So, yeah, you could either try and destroy the wall to get some space to back up, or, I don't know, get to the top of the train or something. But currently there's no path directly backwards that puts you in the position you're looking for.
Right,
Unfortunately.
Clemens has her flying boots, is that correct?
Ah, should
See,
be,
I think
yeah.
she still should. Can she get over the wall?
The wall goes from the floor to the ceiling.
Gotcha.
It kind of just filled up the train with wall. There's technically more wall than there is train, but so I just filled up the train with the wall.
Right, she's gonna try to get up to the ceiling at least.
All right.
And it's probably not gonna help any, but maybe it'll give her room for range attacks later.
Okay, so you want to just like fly up through the hole that was made by Kool-Aid Man Meko and just chill up there?
I forgot there's a hole there. No, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Just trying to get up there to hopefully not be within melee. If he gets closer,
Well, you could go up, you could go up through the hole and then like stand on the ceiling a little ways back or something. I don't know. Potentially.
if that would let her move the bubble, so even one ally is protected from fireball, then she'll do that. Otherwise, she's just going to ascend so that there's... Even if
Right, I
one
see
of
what
the
you're saying.
enemies moves closer, she's not going to be within 5 feet. And then she's going to yell at somebody to destroy the wall.
Okay, sounds good.
And then pass turn.
So I think, yeah, if you fly up to the ceiling, you can probably protect Faye at the moment.
Okay.
I think is how that would work out based on the shape of the thing. Cool. So you're protecting Faye currently from fire damage. And yeah, you're hoping somebody will break down that wall. It is then Belle's turn. Belle is going to... He's gonna hyperfixate on Milo still. He's here with a vendetta.
That makes sense.
There's a whole... yeah, he's gonna reach out again, chains wrapping around his arm as he flexes forward. This seems to be a much less powerful spell, Milos, but it's another wisdom save.
Okay, That is a 23.
23 does indeed pass. You're fine.
Just magically bonk the chains out of the way with the force of arcane energy from my palm.
Yep. And he's like, "Gah! Why won't you just?" And that will be. He doesn't even finish his sentence as he suffers another charisma save at the end of his turn. He rolls. He starts with a 10 because yeah. And then his other roll, he's gonna burn a legendary resistance. He's actively willing himself to stay here against all the magic that is telling him to leave.
Oops.
And I think that is where we will end it for tonight. We'll pick up this combat next time. I'll try to keep this initiative counter rolling until then. But thank you guys for joining me.
much. It was a very fun session.
Yeah, this is
Yes,
sweet.
it was.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad it was.
Train
The
fights are cool.
Meko token back again, real quick. I was making a meme with it.
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right, good night.